Hi, third graders, and welcome to today's reading. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to hop right in. Okay. I am just blown away by you. Oh, that's an expression. I hope you remember our lesson about expressions. I am so impressed by you. I'm not actually blown away, but I am really impressed. You've been working so hard. And you've been learning how to approach your books in different ways. It kind of makes me think of when I'm driving. When I'm driving down the road, I see a lot of different road signs. These road signs, such as the speed limit signs or a stop sign, tell me how to drive. And these signs direct me and help me figure out what to do. Well, there are signs in your books as well. There are parts of your book that require you to solve for the word, like we've been learning about, but there's also parts of your book that signal or give you a sign that you either need to keep reading fluently or slow down and imagine a mind movie. Different parts of your book require different things, and there are signs that tell you so, just like road signs. Today, I want to teach you that texts don't just ask us to read and solve words a certain way, but they ask us to think more deeply oftentimes. We've learned about how to make predictions and when our text is basically begging us to make a prediction. And I want us to focus today and tomorrow on how our texts want us to ask questions. They want us to ask questions and do what is called talking back to the text. You might have heard of that term talking back before, and sometimes talking back means speaking not nicely to an adult. In this case, talking back is good because you're questioning the text, you're questioning your books. It is so important to always be wondering and asking questions to talk back to the text. Some questions might sound like, how come? How could? Or why? They are not just simple questions, but rather they are questions that show we are thinking deeply. And we are going to talk more specifically about what that means and what the difference is. Readers don't just ask these questions and move on. They don't just wonder and then never come to a conclusion or get an answer and then move on just to hurry through the book. No, readers don't hurry through books. They wonder, they rethink, reread, rethink again, and they always use everything they know about the book. Let's look at a passage together from Indian Shoes that makes us go, huh. We are back to reading about the hair catastrophe. You've heard me tell about my wild-haired mutt catastrophe, Grandpa Half Moon said, setting a salad bowl on top of Ray's head. Every once in a while, I'd trim the hair out of his eyes. Everybody said it looked right professional. As Grandpa cut Ray's hair, the prickly ends tickled his nose. To keep from squirming, Ray studied the baseball schedule held by banana-shaped magnets on the fridge. He daydreamed about facing down the Rockets pitcher and smack! He hit a home run. This, of course, was in his dream. Before long, Grandpa Half Moon took off the bowl and studied his handiwork. So I noticed that baseball is a huge part of this story, and here, to me, it's telling me Ray is really passionate about baseball. I'm wondering, since baseball is a huge part of this book, I'm wondering, why is baseball so important to Ray? I'm really wondering. Friends who have heard this book in our live sessions together know that baseball comes up a lot. And for friends that don't know, Ray is on a baseball team And Ray and his grandpa Half Moon go to baseball games a lot. I see this common thing that Ray loves baseball and it's so important to him, and I have to wonder why. I'm asking a thoughtful question. I'm not just asking a question like, why does Ray keep squirming when he's getting his hair cut? We could figure that out easily. I'm asking why baseball is so important throughout the whole book. Like I said, we have to pause, and we can't just ask a question and move on. We have to think about it and think of potential answers to our question. So my question was, why is baseball so important throughout the story, and especially in this part right here where Ray's getting his hair cut? Well, I know that baseball is something Ray and Grandpa do together. So maybe baseball is so important because it's something they have in common and they love each other. I'm using something I know about the story and something I think and feel to make a potential answer to my question. I'm not going to just toss this question away. I'm going to keep thinking about it as I continue to read because I know that baseball is probably going to come up again in our story. Just like when we make predictions, solve words, and think about characters, we need to think about what we know to help us solve these answers. So just like I said before, we need to think about our book, what we know about our book, and what we know about the world in general. You are all so bright, so use the knowledge that you already have. Back to my example. I know that in my book, Indian Shoes, baseball comes up a lot. And what I know about the world and what I can share from my experience is that when two people like Ray and Grandpa Half Moon are close, often they have something in common. In this case, they have baseball in common. That makes me think that that is part of the reason why baseball is so important. My question again was, why is baseball so important to this part of the story and every part of the story? Here's the fun part. We could come up with so many different answers. We're really thinking about it. We're not just thinking about it for a second and then moving on. It can be really fun, and we can show that we are deep and thoughtful readers if we're thinking about potential answers to our questions. Here's the thing. We might never find out why the author talks about baseball so much in the book or why it's so important to Ray. But we can come up with potential answers on our own based on what we already know about our story and about the world in general. Again, you are doing this every day with your own reading. We don't just hear these lessons and then move on and never think about them while we're on Epic or reading our books at home. Really use what we talk about and think about it in your own independent reading. It can be helpful.